Hello everyone, my name is Eesmaa, and today I'm going to show you my penetration test of cybersecurity vulnerability analysis with the recommendations. Presentation made by Eesmaa, 7 June 2026. Here are my outlines. So we're going to do a summary, pre-requirements, security vulnerabilities were identified plus impacts plus analysis, results of web security vulnerabilities, more old systems were risk identified, recommendations of SQL and SQL injection and XSS cross-site scripting, DVWA, recommendations of authentication and either multi-delete, resources and questions of feedbacks. Summary. To test and detect and identify vulnerabilities of DVWA and multi-delete for simulated machine, we use Metasploitable 2 web server. Use Kali Linux for security tools such as tubular spidering, Nick2 web security scanner, burp site for inspecting web packets, and derp searching files and directories from networks, and more. Several exploits were identified as SQL injections, XSS, security address missing, cookie injections, bypass authentications, and ITOR in security direct option reference. CVO score, overall risk ratings, recommendations to make system secure, question feedbacks. Pre-requirements. To get started with penetrations, you may need Kali Linux plus security tools installed, Metasploitable 2, VirtualBox, and in short, both version means are securely connected to each with isolated with network adapter and VirtualBox. Warning: use only your own simulated virtual machines on same network, only for educations and research purposes only. So we have identified 10 vulnerable web applications has been identified. Cross-site scripting can be used by executing malicious scripting likely JavaScript. SQL injections can impact user input in unsensitized. Multi-delete for broken authentications using identity cookies are unsecure, can likely impersonate by hijacking the cookies. IDR to read sensitive files via URL parameters. Here are results of web security vulnerabilities. The first one, XSS, is 5.7 medium. Second one, cookie hijack via bypass authentications, is 7.0, which is high. Third one, SQL injections, which is 8.9, is very high. And the last one, ITOR, is 7.0, which is like high to medium, like that. Yeah, I calculated it using a CVS 3.1 version. More modern systems where risks identified, even more worse than web security vulnerabilities, can also get exposed for system vulnerabilities, such as unused open services with old versions can likely get exposed and attack services to bypass backdoors after scanning the via enemy backed. You can see that all the yellow text on it. And this one too. Old programs with no new security updates are risk. Leaving default configurations without security is the biggest risk. So recommendations of SQL and XSS. To avoid XSS injection risk, validate and sanitize all user inputs, implement the content security policies, use secure frameworks to make automatically escape output, disable JavaScript unsafe inline elements, and apply same origins to prevent click-checking attacks and no sniff to avoid meme sniff attack. To avoid SQL injections risk, use parameterized queries, validate data input types and lengths, use a web applications variable, WAV, hide the debug error messages from users, and avoid the concatenate user input directly into SQL commands. Recommended of authentications and either multi-delete. To avoid authentication risk, even when multi-factor authentications for additional little extra security, enable account lockout and rate limiting after repeated failed login attempts. Always use HTTPS to avoid eavesdropping and plain looking. Avoid default credentials. Enforce strong password policies. To avoid either risk, implement server-side authorization checks for every request. Use indirect reference security codes of UITs or the written in the drivers. Restrict the files with the denied permissions and not to access environment, like example environment files inside the browser data, browser data folders like that. Yeah. Avoid exposure direct to object references. Yeah. Important. Always implement security enhancements and protections and test out everything before going into public internet. Here are my resources I did. So questions or feedbacks? Any questions or feedbacks? So that is all my presentations about the penetration test 2026. This is Eesmaa signing off.